The space around Earth's solar system suddenly filled with light. Thousands of massive ships appeared from nowhere, their dark hulls blocking out the stars. The ships were huge, each one the size of a city. They moved in perfect formation, like a deadly swarm of metal insects. Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the small blue planet ahead. His reptilian eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Earth looked so peaceful, so defenseless. Just another primitive world that would fall to the mighty galactic dominion. He had conquered 47 planets before this one. Earth would be number 48. Status report, Vextar commanded, his voice echoing through the bridge. 50,000 ships in formation, Admiral, his tactical officer replied. All weapon systems ready. The primitive planet shows minimal defenses. Vextar smiled, showing his sharp teeth. Minimal defenses. Just as expected. These humans will surrender within hours, just like all the others. Far below on Earth, in a hidden command center deep under Mount Fuji, Admiral Kim Tae-ho watched the alien fleet on his screens. The center was vast, filled with computers and monitors that showed every corner of space around Earth. Hundreds of people worked at control stations, their faces calm and focused. Kim Tae-ho was a tall man with gray hair and steady eyes. He had been waiting for this day for 30 years. He pressed a button on his desk. Minister Park, please come to the command center immediately, he said, into his communicator. Defense Minister Park So-jin arrived within minutes. She was a woman in her 50s with short black hair and a serious expression. She looked at the screens showing the alien ships and nodded. So they finally came, she said quietly. How many ships? 50,000, Kim Tae-ho replied, just as our intelligence predicted. Park So-jin walked to the main display screen. The alien fleet looked impressive and terrifying, but she did not look afraid. Instead, she looked like someone who had been preparing for an important exam and was finally ready to take it. Have they sent their surrender demand yet? She asked. Not yet. They're probably scanning our defenses first, Kim Tae-ho said. Let them see what we want them to see. On Efur, the surface of Earth, life continued as normal. In Seoul, Lee Jun-ho opened his coffee shop just like every other morning. He was a friendly man in his 30s who made the best coffee in his neighborhood. His customers came in for their morning drinks, talking about work and weather. None of them knew that alien ships filled the space above their heads. In Busan, teacher Choi Mina prepared for her English class. She arranged her books and checked her lesson plans. Her students would arrive soon, eager to learn. She glanced at the news on her tablet, which mentioned some unusual solar activity. Scientists said it might cause problems with satellites. She did not think much about it. Back in space, Admiral Vextar finished his scan of Earth's defenses. His science officer brought him the report. The planet has some orbital stations, Admiral, the officer said. Basic missile defense systems around their major cities. Energy shields that look primitive. Nothing that our fleet cannot handle easily. Excellent, Vextar said. Prepare the surrender demand. Tell them they have 1 day to give up or we will destroy their world. The message was sent to Earth's governments. World leaders appeared on television looking worried and frightened. They called emergency meetings and spoke about the terrible threat from space. But this was all for show. The real decisions were being made far underground. In the hidden command center, Dr. Yang Kyung-soo worked at his computer station. He was the head of something called the Terra Defense Project. For 50 years, this project had been building and waiting. Dr. Yang was an old man now, but his mind was still sharp. His fingers moved quickly across his keyboard, checking systems that had been sleeping for decades. All primary systems show green status, he reported to Admiral Kim Tae-ho. We can begin final preparations whenever you give the order. Kim Tae-ho nodded. Not yet. Let them get closer. Let them think they have already won. The alien fleet moved forward, crossing the orbit of Mars. Their ships spread out in attack formation. Admiral Vextar felt confident and proud. Another easy victory for the Dominion. Sir, his communications officer called out. We're receiving a response from the planet. The message appeared on the main screen. A human leader looking scared and desperate spoke about needing time to consider the surrender terms. He begged for more time, promising to give an answer soon. Admiral Vextar laughed. They're already beaten, and they know it. Signal all ships to prepare for orbit. We'll give them their time, but not much. Deep in the Antarctic ice, Major Lim Dahi checked her equipment one final time. Her base was completely hidden under the frozen wasteland. To anyone looking from above, this area looked empty and dead. But underneath, powerful weapons waited, in the darkness. In the Pacific Ocean, Captain Han Jiwoo stood in the control room of what looked like a small, unimportant island. Tourists sometimes visited the beaches above his head, taking pictures and enjoying the sun. They never knew that, beneath the sand and rocks, a massive defense platform waited for its moment to rise. The first day passed quietly. Earth's leaders continued their meetings, acting confused and frightened. The news showed people in major cities looking up at the sky with worry. Some tried to leave the cities, but most stayed home, trusting their governments to protect them. Admiral Vextar grew impatient. These humans are taking too long. Signal the fleet to move into final attack position. Tomorrow, we begin the assault. In the Mount Fuji Command Center, Admiral Kim Tae-ho received this information from his spy satellites. He looked at Minister Park So-jin and smiled slightly. They're moving into position, he said. Just where we want them. Park So-jin nodded. Then it's time. Signal all stations. Operation Thunder Dawn begins at sunrise. Dr. Yang Kyung-soo's hands hovered over his keyboard. 50 years of preparation were about to be tested. All around Earth, in hidden bases and secret facilities, thousands of people received the same message. The long wait was finally over. Above them, the alien fleet settled into orbit, ready to begin their attack on what they thought was a helpless world. Admiral Vextar went to sleep that night, dreaming of another easy victory. He had no idea that he was about to face the greatest shock of his life. The stage was set. Tomorrow, Earth would show the galaxy its true face. The second day dawned bright and clear over Earth. In space, the Dominion fleet moved into its final attack positions. Admiral Vextar stood on his bridge, feeling pleased with himself. His ship surrounded the small blue planet like a metal net. There was no escape for the humans now. Begin detailed scans of their defense systems, he ordered. I want to know exactly what we're dealing with. His science team worked quickly, sending scanning beams down toward Earth. The results came, back within an hour, and they were exactly what Vextar expected to see. Report, Lieutenant, he said to his scanning officer. The planet shows basic defensive capabilities, sir, the officer replied, reading from his screen. Several orbital defense platforms with primitive weapons, missile systems around major population centers, energy shields that appear to be first-generation technology, nothing that should trouble our forces. Vextar nodded with satisfaction. Any signs of hidden defenses? None, sir. Our scans penetrate deep into their planet's surface. We detect normal geological formations, some underground cities, basic military installations, all very primitive. These humans are exactly what they appear to be. What the Dominion scanners could not detect were the thousands of installations hidden throughout Earth's crust, ocean floors, and even in the planet's atmosphere. These facilities used advanced stealth technology that made them invisible to alien sensors. The energy signatures they would have shown were carefully masked and redirected. In the Pacific Ocean, Captain Han Jiwoo walked through the corridors of his hidden base. Above his head, the artificial island looked completely natural. Coconut, trees grew on the beach. Seabirds nested in the cliffs. Tourist boats sometimes stopped to let people swim in the clear water. None of them knew they were standing on top of one of Earth's most powerful weapons. Status report, Han Jiwoo said to his weapons officer. All systems operational, Captain, the officer replied. The main cannon is charged and ready. Targeting. Computers are locked onto the enemy flagship. Han Jiwoo nodded. The cannon beneath his feet was 20 kilometers long and could fire projectiles at nearly the speed of light. It was powered by geothermal energy from the Earth's core itself. The Dominion had nothing like it. In Antarctica, Major Lim Dahi checked her own systems. Her base was built into the ice sheet itself, completely invisible from above. The alien scans showed only ice and rock, exactly as planned. Energy collectors at full capacity, her technical officer reported. We're drawing power from the planet's magnetic field. Beam weapons ready for discharge. Good, Lim Dahi said. Remember, when the order comes, we strike fast and hard. No second chances. Back in the Mount Fuji Command Center, Dr. Yang Kyung-soo was putting the finishing touches on humanity's greatest secret. For 50 years, Earth scientists had been working on something called the Quantum Resonance Network. It was a system that connected every defense installation on and around Earth into one massive thinking weapon. Network synchronization at 98%, Dr. Yang reported to Admiral Kim Tae-ho. All stations are responding perfectly. What about the AI systems? Kim Tae-ho asked. Operating at full capacity. We've been feeding them Dominion tactical data for decades. They know every move these aliens will make before the aliens know it themselves. This was true. For many years, Earth had been capturing small Dominion scout ships and studying their technology, their battle tactics, and their weaknesses. The information had been fed into quantum computers that could predict enemy actions with perfect accuracy. In the orbit around Earth, the Dominion prepared for their attack. Admiral Vextar called his fleet commanders together for a final briefing. Gentlemen, he said, his reptilian voice echoing through the communication system. Today we add another world to our empire. The humans are weak and primitive. Their defenses are laughable. We will crush them in hours, not days. His commanders agreed eagerly. They had all seen the scan results. Earth looked helpless. First wave fighters will attack the orbital platforms, Vextar continued. Second wave will target their planetary defenses. Third wave will begin bombardment of major cities, simple and effective. On Earth's surface, people went about their normal lives, not knowing that war was about to begin. In Seoul, Lee Jun-ho served coffee to his morning customers. Some of them talked about the strange lights in the sky, but most were more worried about getting to work on time. In Busan, teacher Choi Mina started her English class. Her students were excited because they had seen the news about solar activity, causing unusual aurora displays. She let them talk about it for a few minutes before beginning the lesson. Today we're going to learn about surprises, she said with a small smile. Sometimes things are not what they seem to be. In the Hidden Command Center, civilian coordinator Yoon Ha-young was managing the final stages of the evacuation protocol. Although the real defenses made evacuation unnecessary, it was important to maintain the appearance of a frightened, desperate planet. All major cities report evacuation procedures in progress, she told Minister Park So-jin. Transportation systems are running emergency schedules. It looks very convincing. Park So-jin watched the displays showing the alien fleet. They were almost in perfect position now. Soon, very soon, it would be time to show them the truth about Earth. Admiral, she said to Kim Tae-ho, how long until they begin their attack? Our computers predict they will launch their first wave in approximately 2 hours, Kim Tae-ho replied. They want to let fear build up first. Standard Dominion psychology. Then we have 2 hours to complete final preparations, Park So-jin said. Send the signal to all stations. Final countdown begins now. Around the world in hidden bases and secret facilities, thousands of people received the message. In underground cities, families said goodbye to their loved ones who worked in the defense forces. They were not afraid. They knew what was coming. Professor Seo Dong-jin, working in a laboratory hidden beneath the Swiss Alps, made the last adjustments to the quantum field generators. These devices would create a shield around Earth that could stop any weapon the Dominion possessed. Field generators at 100%, he reported. Ready for activation on your command. The Dominion fleet finished moving into position. Admiral Vextar looked down at the blue and white planet below him. It looked so peaceful, so beautiful. Soon it would belong to him. All ships report ready, Admiral, his tactical officer announced. Excellent, Vextar said. Launch first wave. Fighters, let's show these humans the power of the Dominion. 2,000 fighter ships separated from the main fleet and began their descent toward Earth. Their pilots were confident and eager. They expected an easy fight against primitive human technology. In the Mount Fuji Command Center, warning lights began flashing as the alien fighters entered Earth's atmosphere. Enemy fighters launched, the sensor operator announced. First wave approaching orbital defense platforms. Admiral Kim Tae-ho stood up slowly. The moment he had been waiting for his entire career had finally arrived. All stations, he said. Into his communicator. This is Admiral Kim Tae-ho. Operation Thunder Dawn is now active. Show them who we really are. Around the world, hidden bases began to wake up from their long sleep. The deception was over. Earth was ready to reveal its true face to the galaxy. The moment Admiral Kim Tae-ho gave the order, everything changed. Around the world, systems that had been sleeping for decades suddenly came to life. The ocean began to move in ways that should have been impossible. In the Yellow Sea, the water started to bubble and churn. Waves spread out in perfect circles as something massive rose from the ocean floor. Captain Oh Sung-min stood on what had appeared to be a small research vessel. But now he watched as the real ship revealed itself. The water fell away like curtains being pulled back. The Incheon Rising emerged from its hiding place on the sea, bottom, where it had waited for 30 years. The ship was enormous, over a kilometer long and bristling with weapons that glowed with blue energy. Its hull was made of materials that the Dominion had never seen before. All systems online, Captain, his weapons officer reported. Energy shields at maximum power, main guns charged and ready. Oh Sung-min smiled. Signal Admiral Kim. The Incheon Rising is ready for battle. All around the world, similar awakenings were happening. In the Atlantic Ocean, the Busan Guardian broke the surface, followed by the Seoul Defender and 12 other massive warships. Each one had been built in secret, using technology that was far beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. But the ships were not the only surprise. On every continent, mountain ranges began to transform. What the Dominion scanners had identified as natural rock formations were actually the most advanced weapons platforms ever built. In the Himalayas, Colonel Bae Young-ho watched as the mountains around him opened like giant flowers. The peaks split apart, revealing massive energy cannons that had been disguised as stone and ice. Each cannon was the size of a skyscraper and could destroy a Dominion battleship with a single shot. Himalayan defense grid fully operational, he reported to the command center. All 47 cannon platforms ready to fire. In North America, Lieutenant Colonel Jin Hee-jin watched the Rocky Mountains undergo the same transformation. What had looked like innocent mountain peaks were actually the camouflaged tops of enormous weapon towers. The morning sun reflected off their metal surfaces as they revealed themselves. Rocky Mountain Defense Grid online, she reported. Targeting, systems locked onto enemy fleet. The Dominion fighters approaching Earth's orbital platform suddenly found themselves facing something impossible. The small, primitive defense stations they had expected to destroy easily began to change. Metal panels slid away, revealing weapons that should not have existed on this backward planet. Admiral Vextar stared at his tactical displays in confusion. "What is happening down there?" he demanded. "Where are all these energy signatures coming from?" His science officer's voice was shaking with disbelief. "Sir, I'm reading power levels that are off our measurement scales. These signatures are larger than our own motherships." "That's impossible," Vextar snapped. "Run the scans again." "Sir, I've run them 5 times. The readings are correct. That planet is generating more energy than our entire fleet combined." Dr. Yang Kyung-soo in the Mount Fuji Command Center smiled as his quantum computers achieved full synchronization. The quantum resonance network was now fully active, connecting every defense installation on Earth into one massive intelligence. The system could think faster than any alien computer and predict every move the enemy would make. Network integration complete, he announced. All defense systems are now operating as a single unit. This was Earth's greatest secret. While other planets built individual weapons and ships, humans had created something unprecedented, a planetary defense system that worked like a living organism. Every cannon, every ship, every shield generator was connected to every other one through quantum communication links. The alien fighters reached Earth's orbital platforms and opened fire, expecting quick victory. Instead, their weapons struck, shields that absorbed the energy and redirected it back at them. The platforms returned fire with precision that seemed impossible, hitting targets that were thousands of kilometers away with perfect accuracy. Within seconds, half of the first wave of fighters was destroyed. The rest tried to retreat, but they found their escape routes blocked by weapons they could not see. Admiral Vextar received the first reports from his attack squadrons with growing alarm. "Admiral," his flight commander's voice crackled over the radio, "we're under attack by weapons we can't identify. The enemy platforms are using energy types we've never encountered. Our shields are useless against them." "Impossible," Vextar said, but his voice lacked conviction now. Something was very wrong here. That was when Earth's leaders decided to drop their pretense entirely. The main communication screen on Vextar's bridge lit up with an incoming message. Instead of the frightened human leader he expected to see, Admiral Vextar found himself looking at a woman in a crisp military uniform. Her eyes were calm and confident. "I am Fleet Admiral Park So-jin of the Earth Defense Forces," she said. "You are Admiral Vextar of the Galactic Dominion, and you have made a serious mistake." Vextar's mouth fell open. "Earth Defense Forces? Impossible. Our scans show you have no significant military capability." Park So-jin smiled slightly. "Your scans show you exactly what we wanted you to see. Let me correct some misconceptions you may have about our world." The display screen split to show images from around Earth. Vextar watched in horror as massive warships rose from the oceans, as mountains opened to reveal weapons of incredible size, as the sky itself seemed to fill with defensive platforms that had been invisible moments before. "For 50 years, Park So-jin continued, we have been preparing for visitors like you. We have studied your technology, learned your tactics, and built defenses that are specifically designed to counter your capabilities." Strategic Defense Coordinator Lee Sang-woo, working at his station in the command center, was already implementing the next phase of the plan. Around Earth's solar system, devices that had been floating in space like harmless debris suddenly activated. They were jump space interdictors, designed to prevent any ship from escaping through hyperspace. "Interdiction field active," Lee Sang-woo reported. "The entire enemy fleet is now trapped in our space." Park So-jin's image on Vextar's screen continued speaking. "You now have one opportunity to avoid total destruction. Order your ships to power down their weapons and prepare to be escorted to detention orbits. You have 30 seconds to comply." Vextar found his voice at last, though it came out as a croak. "This is impossible. We are the Dominion. We have conquered hundreds of worlds. You are just primitive humans." 20 seconds, Park So-jin said calmly. Around Earth, thousands of hidden weapon systems came online, from the depths of the oceans, from inside mountains, from stations disguised as clouds in the atmosphere. Energies began building that could tear apart entire fleets. Squadron leader Nam Soo-jin prepared her atmospheric defense drones. These machines were unlike anything in the known galaxy. They could phase in and out of normal spacetime, appearing behind enemy ships and disappearing before return fire could reach them. "Drone squadrons ready," she reported, awaiting orders to engage. Vextar looked around his bridge at his terrified crew. His tactical officer was staring at readings that showed impossible power levels building all around Earth. His weapons officer reported that targeting systems could not lock onto most of the human defenses because they were using some kind of technology that bent space itself. 10 seconds, Park So-jin announced. Vextar realized with growing horror that this was not a primitive world they were attacking. This was something else entirely. Earth had been hiding its true nature, and now the mask was off. "Admiral," his communications officer whispered, "what are your orders?" Vextar looked at the blue planet below, no longer seeing a helpless world but something far more dangerous. The power readings were still climbing. Soon, very soon, those weapons would fire. He opened his mouth to give the order to retreat, but Park So-jin's voice cut him off. "Time's up," she said simply. "Earth's hidden defenses opened fire." When Earth's weapons fired, the galaxy witnessed something that had never been seen before. The hidden defenses unleashed power that turned space itself into a storm of destruction. Captain Han Ji-woo's artificial island in the Pacific revealed its true purpose. The tropical paradise split down the middle like an opening flower. From the crack emerged the barrel of a cannon so massive it seemed impossible. The weapon was 20 kilometers long and powered by energy drawn directly from Earth's molten core. Target locked on the enemy flagship, his gunner reported, ready to fire. Fire! Han Jiwoo ordered. The railgun fired a projectile at 90% the speed of light. The projectile was made of compressed matter that had been enhanced with quantum technology. When it hit Admiral Vextar's flagship, the massive ship simply disappeared. One moment it was there. The next moment there was only an expanding cloud of energy and debris. Admiral Vextar had exactly 3 seconds to realize what was happening before his ship was destroyed. His last thought was that this could not be real. Primitive worlds did not have weapons like this, but the Pacific Cannon was just one of hundreds of weapons firing simultaneously. From the lunar installations that had been disguised as mining operations, Lunar Base Commander Kang Min-ho released swarms of hunter-killer satellites. All satellite squadrons launched, he reported to Earth Command. Beginning attack runs on enemy formation. The satellites moved through space like silver, fish through water. They were sleek, fast, and nearly impossible to target. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a Dominion cruiser. They darted between the alien ships, firing precisely aimed bursts of energy that cut through enemy hulls like knives through paper. The Dominion fleet tried to fight back, but their weapons could not track targets that moved so quickly and unpredictably. Within minutes, hundreds of their ships were crippled or destroyed by the darting satellites. In Antarctica, Major Lim Dahee's ice-hidden installations fired beams of pure energy into space. These weapons used Earth's magnetic field as a power source, making them virtually unlimited in their destructive capability. The beams struck enemy ships and superheated the space around them, causing chain reactions that destroyed entire squadrons at once. Direct hits on enemy formation Delta 7, her targeting officer reported. 15 ships destroyed, 23 disabled. Continue firing, Lim Dahee ordered. Target formation Delta 8 next. The Dominion pilots had never experienced anything like this. They were supposed to be the advanced civilization, the conquerors of worlds. But Earth's weapons used technologies they did not even understand. Ships that should have been protected by the best shields in the galaxy were being torn apart by human weapons, as if their defenses were made of paper. Squadron Leader. Nam Soo-jin's atmospheric defense drones added to the confusion and terror. These machines could phase in and out of normal spacetime, appearing behind enemy fighters and disappearing before the aliens could react. Ghost Squadron engaging enemy fighters, she reported. Beginning phase strike attack pattern. Her drones flickered in and out of existence like deadly spirits. They would appear suddenly beside a Dominion fighter, fire a single devastating shot, and vanish again before return fire could reach them. To the alien pilots, it seemed like their enemies could appear and disappear at will. The Dominion's battle formations fell apart as panic spread through their ranks. Ships that had never known defeat were being destroyed by weapons they could not see or understand. Some pilots tried to retreat, only to discover that their hyperspace drives would not function. Strategic Defense Coordinator Lee Sang-woo smiled as his interdiction field performed perfectly. The invisible devices scattered throughout Earth's solar system created a barrier that prevented any ship from jumping to hyperspace. The alien fleet was trapped with no way to escape. Interdiction field holding at maximum strength, he reported. No enemy vessels can escape the battle zone. From the Himalayan defense grid, Colonel Bae Young-ho coordinated the fire of 47 mountain-sized cannons. Each weapon could destroy a Dominion battleship with a single shot, and they fired in perfect synchronization, thanks to the quantum resonance network. Grid firing sequence 7 complete, he announced. Enemy battle group Alpha is completely destroyed, moving to target battle group Beta. The weapons built into the Rocky Mountains added their firepower to the assault. Lieutenant Colonel Jin Hyjin watched as her cannon platforms eliminated entire squadrons of enemy ships with mechanical precision. Rocky Mountain Grid reports successful elimination of enemy formation Charlie 3, she said. Ammunition reserves at 80%. Ready to continue engagement. Dr. Yang Kyung-soo monitored the battle from his position at the quantum resonance network control station. The network was performing even better than he had hoped. Every weapon on Earth was connected to every other weapon, sharing targeting data and coordinating attacks with perfect efficiency. Network integration holding at maximum efficiency, he reported to Admiral Kim Tae-ho. Enemy fleet strength reduced by 60% and falling rapidly. The battle was completely one-sided. The Dominion had expected to fight primitive humans with basic weapons. Instead, they faced a planetary defense system that operated like a single, impossibly advanced organism. Every shot fired by Earth's defenders hit its target. Every movement by the alien fleet was predicted and countered before it could be completed. Captain Oh Sung-min commanded the Incheon Rising as it rose from the Yellow Sea like a metal mountain. The ship's weapons were based on technology that the Dominion had never encountered. Energy beams that could bend space itself struck enemy vessels and tore them apart at the molecular level. Main guns firing, his weapons officer reported. Target acquired, target destroyed, moving to next target. All around Earth's oceans, massive warships that had been hidden for decades emerged to join the battle. The Busan Guardian, the Seoul, Defender, and dozens of others added their firepower to the devastating assault on the alien fleet. The few remaining Dominion commanders tried desperately to organize a counterattack, but it was hopeless. Their communications were being jammed by technology they did not understand. Their weapons could not penetrate Earth's shields. Their ships were being destroyed faster than they could count. In the Mount Fuji Command Center, Admiral Kim Tae-ho watched the battle displays with satisfaction. The plan that had been 50 years in the making was working perfectly. Enemy fleet strength now at 30% and falling, his tactical officer reported. Estimated time to complete victory, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Minister Park So-jin stood beside him, watching the destruction of what had been the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. Send a message to the surviving ships, she ordered. Offer them one final chance to surrender. The message was broadcast to what remained of the Dominion fleet. This is Fleet Admiral Park So-jin. Your invasion has failed. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. You have 60 seconds to comply. Some of the surviving alien ships tried to surrender, but others continued fighting out of desperation or pride. It did not matter. Earth's weapons continued their methodical destruction of the invading force. In Seoul, Lee Jun-ho closed his coffee shop early as emergency broadcasts filled the airwaves. He looked up at the sky, where flashes of light marked the destruction of the alien fleet. He smiled slightly and went home to his family. In Busan, teacher Choi Mi-na gathered her students around the classroom television to watch history being made. Remember this day, she told them. This is the day the world changed. The battle that was supposed to last hours or days was over in exactly 7 minutes and 34 seconds. Of the 50,000 ships that had come to conquer Earth, fewer than 1,000 remained operational. All of them were now prisoners, held in place by tractor beams and surrounded by weapons that could destroy them instantly. The galaxy's most powerful invasion fleet had been crushed in minutes by a planet they thought was primitive and defenseless. Earth had revealed its true face, and that face was terrible in its power. The silence after the battle was more shocking than the weapons' fire had been. In the space around Earth, debris from thousands of destroyed ships drifted slowly in the vacuum. The few surviving Dominion vessels hung motionless, held in place by tractor beams they could not break free from. Admiral Kim Tae-ho stood in the Mount Fuji Command Center, surrounded by displays that showed the complete destruction of what had been the galaxy's most feared invasion force. Officers moved quietly, at their stations, securing the battlefield and accounting for the enemy survivors. Final count, his tactical officer reported. Enemy fleet reduced from 50,000 ships to 943 operational vessels. All survivors are contained within our defense grid. Defense Minister Park So-jin activated the communication system that would broadcast to the captured alien ships and, through them, to the entire Galactic Dominion. This is Fleet Admiral Park So-jin of Earth Defense Command, she announced. The invasion of our world has failed. Your surviving vessels are now under our protection and control. In one of the surviving Dominion ships, Sub-Admiral Kethvar, listened to the human's words with a mixture of terror and confusion. He had been Vexitar's second-in-command, and now he was the highest-ranking Dominion officer still alive. The idea that humans were offering protection to their would-be conquerors
made no sense to him.
"I don't understand," he transmitted back to Earth. "We came to destroy your world. Why do you speak of protection?" Park Seo-jin's answer would change how the galaxy understood everything. "Because that has always been our purpose," she said. "For millions of years, Earth has served as a testing ground and guardian world. Every invasion, every attack on our planet has been carefully monitored and controlled. We allowed your dominion to grow and expand because we needed to identify the real threats to galactic peace." Dr. Yang Kyung-soo began broadcasting historical data to the surviving ships. The records showed something incredible. Earth had been visited by hundreds of different species over millions of years. Each visitor had been studied, tested, and catalogued. Some had been found peaceful and were secretly protected. Others, like the Dominion, had been identified as dangerous and were carefully managed. "The truth is," Dr. Yang explained to the shocked alien survivors, "your empire exists only because we allowed it to exist. Every major decision your leaders made was influenced by information we provided through carefully placed agents and manipulated circumstances." This revelation broke the remaining Dominion officers completely. They had believed themselves to be the masters of the galaxy, but they had been puppets dancing to Earth's hidden strings all along. Ambassador Choi Jae-sung, who had been waiting in a hidden diplomatic facility, now revealed himself to the Galactic Council. For decades, he had been working among the alien governments under a false identity, gathering information and subtly guiding political developments. Honorable representatives of the Galactic Council, he addressed the emergency session that had convened to address the Dominion's defeat. "I bring greetings from the true guardians of our galaxy." The alien delegates sat in stunned silence as Choi Jae-sung explained Earth's real role. The humans were not a primitive species that had suddenly developed advanced technology. They were the descendants of an ancient civilization that had been protecting younger races for millions of years. "Every species in this chamber has benefited from our protection," he told them. "When the Vortaki tried to sterilize your worlds with biological weapons, it was Earth that stopped them. When the machine intelligence of Kepler 442 attempted to convert all organic life into digital consciousness, we defeated them. You never knew we were there because that was how we chose to operate." The revelation explained so many historical mysteries. Wars that had ended suddenly for no apparent reason. Aggressive species that had mysteriously changed their ways. Technological advances that had appeared at exactly the right moments to save civilizations from destruction. Back on Earth, the hidden command centers were becoming less hidden. People around the world watched in amazement as mountain ranges opened to reveal vast installations, as the ocean floors released enormous ships, as the sky filled with defensive platforms that had been invisible for decades. In Seoul, Lee Jun-ho stood outside his coffee shop watching the news broadcasts with his neighbors. The sky above them was no longer empty. Massive ships hung in the atmosphere, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. They were beautiful and terrible at the same time. "I never knew," one of his customers said quietly. "All this time, we were protected by things we could not even see." In Busan, teacher Choi Mina faced a classroom full of wide-eyed students who had just learned that their primitive world was actually the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. "Teacher," one student asked, "does this mean we're like superheroes?" Choi Mina smiled. "In a way, yes. But the most important thing to remember is that our power comes with responsibility. We use our strength to protect those who cannot protect themselves." The surrendered Dominion officers were taken to special facilities where they would learn the truth about the galaxy they thought they knew. Many of them, like Sub-Admiral Kethvar, chose to join Earth's mission of protection rather than return to their old empire. "I spent my life believing we were bringing order to chaos," Kethvar told his human interrogator. "Now I see we were the chaos and you were the ones maintaining order." Fleet Admiral Park Seo-jin established the Galactic Defense Academy where former enemies could learn to become protectors. The Academy's first class included Dominion officers, Vortaki scientists, and representatives from dozens of other species. Your old way of thinking divided the galaxy into conquerors and conquered, she told the new students. Our way recognizes only two types of beings, those who protect life and those who threaten it. Today, you choose which one you will be. Dr. Yang Kyung-soo worked with teams of alien scientists to share carefully selected human technologies. The goal was not to make other species dependent on Earth, but to help them develop their own defensive capabilities. True security comes not from one strong protector, he explained, but from a network of civilizations working together to preserve peace. The quantum communication networks that connected Earth's defenses were expanded to include other worlds. Soon, a galaxy-wide early warning system would alert all peaceful civilizations to emerging threats. Strategic Defense Coordinator Lee Sang-woo oversaw the integration of reformed Dominion ships into Earth's defense fleet. The alien vessels were retrofitted with human technology and crewed by mixed human-alien teams. Former enemies make the best allies, he observed, because they understand both sides of the conflict. As the months passed, the galaxy began to change in fundamental ways. The fear that had driven species to build weapons and conquer others was replaced by cooperation and mutual protection. Trade flourished between worlds that had previously been enemies. Scientific advances accelerated as species shared knowledge freely. In the hidden command centers of Earth, now revealed to the world, Admiral Kim Tae-ho and his staff continued their ancient duty, but now they were not alone. Representatives from hundreds of worlds worked alongside human officers to maintain galactic peace. We are no longer the hidden guardians, Kim Tae-ho reflected during a staff meeting. We are the visible center of a new kind of civilization. The greatest change was in Earth itself. The planet that had pretended to be primitive for so long could finally show its true face to its own people. Cities that had been built underground emerged into the sunlight. Technologies that had been secret for generations became part of daily life. Lee Jun-ho still operated his coffee shop in Seoul, but now his customers included alien diplomats and off-world traders. He learned to make coffee the way different species preferred it, and his small shop became a symbol of the new galactic community. Choi Mina's classroom in Busan now connected directly to schools on other worlds. Her students learned languages from across the galaxy and made friends with children who lived under different stars. The Dominion as a conquering empire ceased to exist, but its people found new purpose as part of the Galactic Protection Network. Their military skills were redirected toward defending peaceful worlds rather than attacking them. Earth's weapons slowly powered down, returning to their hidden sleep. They would wake again if needed, but for now the galaxy was at peace. The ancient guardians had finally revealed themselves, and the universe was a safer place because of it. In space stations that orbited distant worlds, human and alien officers worked side by side, monitoring for threats and protecting the innocent. The dream of a truly peaceful galaxy was beginning to come true. And on Earth, in the command centers that were no longer secret, the Guardians maintained their eternal watch. They had spent millions of years protecting the galaxy from the shadows. Now they could do their work in the light, with the gratitude and cooperation of all the civilizations they had secretly safeguarded for so long. The invasion that was supposed to conquer Earth in hours had instead revealed the galaxy's true protectors. And the universe would never be the same again.